Welcome to the Center of Light Radio with spiritual teacher, intuitive, musician, composer, and best-selling author of The Divine Principle, Anchoring Heaven on Earth, your host, Keith Anthony Blanchard.
Tonight, I'm going to be talking about astral travel, astral projection, out-of-body experiences, lucid dreaming, and the dreaded sleep paralysis, because that can really, really suck. Again, I live by a train station, so the ground may be rumbling. You might not hear it because you might be on a phone or something that doesn't have any low-end speakers like woofers or something, but so tonight's Burst of Light Live is called Come Fly With Me, Spiritual Liberation. This Burst of Light Live is about claiming your freedom as a spiritual being and experience the grandeur of who you really are. Right? Past Burst of Light videos, we talked about this magical place, this stargate. Kind of looks like this, right? The heart. Heart is always a metaphor for God, for love. We've always known that. So if I ask you to point to God, you point here. If I ask you to point to yourself, you point here. So in here is the universe, the causal universe. This is the source. That is the reflective universe. So the universe that lives in here is greater than the universe out there. And tonight I'm going to hand you some tools. I promise you, if you begin to implement this in your life, you're going to be contacting me and saying, oh my God, Keith, the experience I had last night was phenomenal. We do this all the time. It's more of a matter of wanting it bad enough to bring the cognitive memory back with you from that experience, but also to begin to do this as often as you like. There's so much in here. It's truly, and I use the word literally, it's infinite. What if I told you through astral projection, lucid dreaming, that you can meet with deceased loved ones, meet with angels, hang out? I have hung out with quite a few of them. One of them was Archangel Ariel, sitting in a tree whittling an apple. Meet with aliens. Travel the entire universe and all its dimensions. All its dimensions. All its dimensions. We'll get to some of that later, how big this pie really is. Move forward or backward in time. I went to the past. I mean, some years ago I had an experience that I went to the past. And every time I go to the past, it's always in black and white to insinuate the past. I went to my mother and father's house, and I visited with my mother and father. I was on one side of the fence, they were on the other. They said, can we help you? And I said, yes. And they came over to the fence, and I said, I'm your son from the future. So time is irrelevant because what lives here is infinite. And the power that lives in you is the same power that creates worlds and universes. When you begin to astral travel, you can move through walls. You can just push yourself right through a wall. And you can feel it. You can feel the texture of the paint. You can feel the density of the wood. And you push yourself right through with thought. Because it's not about moving your body. One moment. This train is rumbling. Either way, so it's really not about moving your body. It's about using your will to navigate wherever it is you want to go or whatever it is you're experiencing to be an interactive part of that. What if you could watch people when you're out of your body? When you're done with the experience, that you can call your best friend and say, hey, I saw you about an hour ago. What do you mean I was alone? No, you was not. I was in your house and I watched you doing the laundry, and then you made yourself something to eat, and they'll go, oh my God, how did you know all that? It's because your consciousness is everywhere. It's that we're just focused here in this body, at least for now. But once you get good, you can begin to shift yourself to different aspects of who you really are. I've done this before. I've visited with a friend of mine named Tammy. I'm going to tell you that story a little later. What if you could search for something that you've lost? You go into a meditation, you have an out-of-body experience, and you go in there with the intentions to find a particular pendant that your grandmother gave you that it broke your heart that you lost it. You can pinpoint it. You can find it. Come out, you know exactly where it's at. And I have had a friend of mine by the name of Chris do this a number of occasions about different things. What if you can go into the dimensions of the subatomic particles? Well, Keith, I understand that might be cool, but how is that useful? Well, when you're there, you'll figure it out. It'll come to you. It's just another reality completely, and you can interact with these particles to some degree, but it's about the experience. What if I told you, say you and I had a phone call, and I said, let's both try to get out tonight. Let's meet at the Great Pyramids of Gaza, right? And we meet over the largest pyramid, and we tell each other we're going to meet at the apex, right? If we're both successful in getting out, and we do meet up, we will see each other. Absolute fact. Again, I have some friends of mine by the name of Harry and Keith. They had a simultaneous experience. They both had what they called a dream was riding bicycles. And then they talked on the phone the next day. He said, yeah, man, I had a dream about you last night. He said, well, so did I. And the other one said, well, we were riding a bike. And he said, no way. And then they proceeded back and forth to tell each other what they were doing throughout the entire experience. So you can meet with some of your friends or loved ones. You can interact with each other while you're doing this. Believe that. So what I'm going to show you now, it's going to be a silent video. It lasts about 3 or 4 minutes, but it will paint a picture of what can happen to you, the possibilities of what it sort of looks like when you have an out-of-body experience. That's pretty cool. I do it all the time. This could be seen, like I mentioned, going into the realm of the subatomic particles. You can meet with your friends. Have astral sex. Dig that. And of course, this is what your chakras look like. In fact, if you could take away the body and just keep the energy field and those 7 colors that align with your spine, that's really what every human being looks like. Every soul looks like, rather. Take it in. We do this every night. Every night. All of us. So I think you get the idea. This is what spiritual liberation is about. At least one aspect of it. It's about exploring who you really are. The universe is a playground for all souls to play. And we can stay here on earth. We can expand to the level of having these kinds of gifts put into motion to enhance our lives, to enrich our lives, that we learn from other civilizations, that we learn from other realities. And it expands us in this life, and we become greater at being human, but becoming greater at being spiritual and developing our spiritual muscles, having them grow, so we can become the embodiments of heaven on earth, heaven through this portal, but we're always associated, referred to heaven as something being up or high. Trust me, all these things are real. This show tonight, this burst of light, came by request of many people. They wanted out-of-body experiences, lucid dreaming, and information about sleep paralysis. I mentioned to you a minute ago about hanging out with alien beings. Many of those people who know me knows that for 4 years I was able to hang out with an extraterrestrial human hybrid. Sounds strange? You don't have to believe me, just take it in. Remember, as I always say, the truth does not need anyone's permission to exist. I hung out with this cat for 4 years. His name is Nucleus 8. His name is Nucleus because he was grown. He was grown for the purpose of security, which he is now head of security in this quadrant of our galaxy. The number 8 in his name is because he's number 8 on a board of 12. He can monitor 6 dimensions simultaneously. Right? Nothing goes by him in our quadrant of the galaxy unmonitored. Nothing. He's got a finger in every pie. And at this current time, he's probably 4,740 years old. One night when I was hanging out with Nucleus, we just got finished with a spiritual service. So we parted ways after some chat, and he said, I got something special for you. I said, okay. He said, I'll tell you soon. The next morning, I get a phone call, and it's Nucleus 8. And he says, Keith, everybody in our group has an implant but you. Do you want it? I said, convince me on one. He goes, I made it myself. Everyone has one but you, and I have one left, and you're welcome to have it. I said, convince me I want it. He said, if you're lost, we can find you. If you're in trouble, we can help you. And if you're sick, we can administer medicine. Named a few of the perks. I said, okay, what's the drawback? He said, your life is no longer private. He says, no one will have access to your file but me. And I would only go into your file knowing that you would want me to because you need my assistance in some way. And he says, do you have anything you're ashamed of? And I said, let me think. And then I said, no, I'm okay. I have no guilt, no shame about whatever. No regret. He says, by the next time you and I speak, Keith, be it over the phone or face to face, this will be implanted. That night, I came hyper lucid, hyper conscious, in an experience with an alien woman holding me up, walking me towards Nucleus 8, who was sitting on what looked like to be what we would call a lawn chair. And there was an excruciating pain in my right kidney region. So I look over my shoulder to see where's the source of this pain. And it's coming from this old alien woman. And she's laughing, going, she said, silly boy, you went into this on some level assuming it was going to hurt. And guess what? You're right. She goes, it wasn't necessary to hurt. So the pain was so excruciating. As she brings me up to Nucleus 8, I begin in this reality. Listen to this. I tell you the truth on my son's life. And if you know me, I don't use such words loosely or lightly. I begin to vomit all over Nucleus 8's feet. The phone rings in my actual bedroom, and I wake up, and guess who's on the phone? It's Nucleus 8. And I said, dude, I just had a dream about you. He said, no, you didn't. I said, dude, I just woke up. I know, I just had a dream about you. He goes, Keith, you weren't dreaming. I said, are you sure about that? He says, the vomit all over my feet tells me so. Experience within with another reality. But I also know the woman who the alien being works through on the earth plane. I had a same type of experience with Nucleus 14 years later, which was 2 years ago. He brought me back on the ship full of children Children everywhere. It was all about the children. And that day when I spoke to Nucleus, he asked me if I wanted my implant updated. And I said, sure. Well, knowing Nucleus, it was going to happen that night, and it did. And there was children everywhere. There were fairies everywhere. So this is one of the experiences I've had in lucid dreaming, out of body, being able to crossfade with other realities and interact with them. I have a friend of mine by the name of Tammy. You can find her on my Facebook friends list. You can ask her. She'll tell you the absolute truth. When I told you that you can visit with other people, they won't even know you're there. And you can do it. And I've done it. When I first got on this path, my mentor, Mike, decided he was going to put me in what we call a rebirthing. Not just a normal meditation, which is in and out breath, slowly, kind of thing. This is about really moving some breath. You do this for however long it takes to shift to another experience. I've done this for about 20 minutes and a blackout. And then I came back. Blackout, came back. It would have seemed to me every bit of 10 seconds. To me, it felt like I fell asleep. So we finished the experience. It was done. The next night, I go to Stage Stop, Rock Bar here in Memphis, Tennessee. And I'm sitting in the back by the dartboards, and my friend Tammy walks into the room, the club. And I see her walk in, and all the way across the room, I go, I need to see you. Come here. She said, give me one moment. So finally, after Tammy makes her way to me, when she walked in the door, I had total, full-blown conscious recall. It all came back. She sits down next to me. Just so happened the band went on break so we can somewhat chat. I said, Tammy, where were you last night, about 5 o'clock? I was on my way to the mall. I said, please don't tell me anything more. I said, I saw you. She says, what do you mean you saw me? I said, Tammy, I saw you. I was in your car. I did a meditation. Before I could finish the word meditation, she said, oh, Keith, please don't tell me this is one of those far out spiritual things. I said, it is. I said, but if you're my friend, it's important to me that you play this out with me. She said, all right. I said, I saw you, Tammy. I was in your car. I was conscious at your dome light looking down on the experience. Keep in mind, Tammy is the type of person that drives everywhere she goes. Tammy is never a passenger, ever. And if it is, it's very rarely. Not only was Tammy the passenger that day, let me ask you a question. How often are you the passenger in your own car? Twice as rarely, right? Well, it just so happened Tammy was a passenger that day and a passenger in her own car. So Tammy, I saw you in the car. You had pointed brown shoes on, baggy pleated blue jeans. You had a pendant around your neck. You wore this blue shirt. And I said, you're wiping your seat, your back seat, with a piece of white material. And I said, there was a stick shift. She goes, this was my car that I was in, Keith. She was getting surprised now. And I said, I don't know who was driving. She goes, it was him, the guy that walked into the club with her. She goes, Keith, I was wiping my seat with a white towel, and it's still in my car. You can go see it if you like. Because I left my window open, and it rained in my car the night before. I was blown away. She was blown away. So this is another experience that is possible through meditation and being touched with who you are and wanting, like your mana, like your life breath, having a passion, a desire, and sincerity, actually, for said sacred cosmic experience. Wormholes do exist. Been there, done that. So Keith, how do we begin to induce these kinds of things? Like I said, the first is the want, the desire. It's not that difficult. It's something we do naturally. It's more or less one believing, oh wow, I watched this awesome live feed last night and this person said that this is really my nature and I can really experience this if I just make a shift. Once you choose to desire such experiences, you are at the halfway point. It's the halfway point, is acknowledging something and aligning yourself with the decision for it. That's the halfway point. Now, it's to help remember to become conscious when you are in sleepscape. And what you can do is you can tell yourself, if a car passes down my street, I will use that noise as a signal to make me hyper-conscious. If the air conditioner kicks on, I will use that as a noise to make me hyper-conscious. Because there's really no rules. You can make them up. You can make a little invisible button and start banging on it, or a crank and start turning it. It's just all using your will and these self-created apparatus to bring about said experience. So obviously this is a closed-eyed thing. You can do it through a meditation practice. You can get on YouTube and how to induce out-of-body experiences, how to astral project. I'm sure you have every possible person telling you how to do it. You probably can find doctors, institutes that will put you under a light hypnosis. And this is all safe. I've been doing this for years. Don't buy into the hype bullshit. Do the research, of course. Always do the research. And find what feels best for you. So you close your eyes and begin a breathing process. There are many different ways that you can achieve this and have success. One is through meditation. And when you're in meditation, you begin to see what it is you want to experience. Seeing. A blind man once said that it does not take sight to climb Mount Everest. It takes vision. And that applies in this scenario here and now. So if you want to go to Hawaii, in your experience, you begin to go over the imagery of palm trees, South Pacific, what you know about Hawaii, and you stay with it, 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 and you stay steadfast and focused. Now, the Tibetan Buddhists say that when you begin to have a thought in meditation, you are actually there, and it's more to the degree of your conviction and your belief that opens up the gate to where when you get really good, like a Tibetan Buddhist monk, that you can literally bilocate yourself to this experience. That's kind of what I did when I gave you the scenario, what I did with Tammy. Tammy, I left and I went and experienced her in her car. I was able to see it. So it's about using your will. That's why they call it astral projection. You have to project yourself because you cannot walk. Your body is in fail-safe mode, and we're going to be talking about that again a little bit later when I start telling you about sleep paralysis. Meditation. Here are some techniques that you can use. In meditation, you can try the rocking yourself out technique. You lay down, breathe, 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 breathe. Breath is life. God breathed life into man. Your body becomes charged and you will feel it. You will hear it. It sounds like a train, like a jet engine firing up around you. When this begins to happen, you know that you're ready. You're on fertile ground for a possible lucid out-of-body experience. You will feel your light because it's energy. And now you're aware of your energy body, your light body, and it's a buzz. So what you can begin to do is imagine that you're rocking yourself like this. Use a visualization. You're rocking, right? So you keep this going. And you can literally launch yourself out. You can literally launch yourself out, or in, rather, to other experiences. Now, I'll save that for a second. Rocking technique. Here's another thing you can do. If any one of you out there is familiar with Dr. Emoto, who recently died, he was from Japan. He did an experiment some years ago called the charged water technique. He would put labels. If I was to take this bottle of water, Fiji's the best water, and I'm sponsored by Fiji. I was to take this bottle of water and have 3 glasses, and pour this same water into 3 different glasses, and look it up on YouTube, Dr. Emoto's water experiment. And on one of them, I put love, piece of tape with the word love. The other one I put happiness. Another one I put prayer. Mother Teresa. Another one I put Hitler. Another one I put the word evil. Another one I put I will kill you. He froze this water, and they come out with these geometric shapes, and it's amazing what you see. These labels, these vibratory signatures affected the water. We're 70% water. It's all water. So what you can do is often meditate, send your vibration, your desire, your intention of wanting to become conscious there in sleepscape like you are conscious here in the waking world. And you put your hands in it and you charge your water and you drink your water. It works. It's all intention. Now you may say, well, Keith, that's kind of a placebo. Who cares? If it works, it works, but it's all intention. But the water does have physical vibrational properties. It does. Here's another way. This is a product I interviewed Connor Southworth on my radio show last year. He has a product called Dream Leaf. And it's all herbal. There's nothing crappy in it at all. And they do have a sense of humor at the company. Because this particular supplement to help you have out-of-body experiences or become conscious and lucid is it's a 2-pilled program. And their humor is, because it's about helping you get in touch with yourself to get out of the, quote, matrix of the waking three-dimensional reality. Like the Matrix, the movie. Their humor is they came up with 2 pills. One blue and one red. The first night I took this product, I kid you not, I visited with my mother, my brother, my deceased aunt by the name of Geraldine. I did. So here's another way. Dream Leaf products to enhance lucid dreaming. Contact me. I'll tell you exactly how to get it. It's $30 for like a month. Look, 30. If you're into this kind of stuff, which I am, I love cosmic experiences. I love coming back and know that I met someone who is an enlightened extraterrestrial, or an angel, or a guide, or a deceased loved one. That's worth $30 for me right there. It is. Heavy breathing is another way. Breathing like this, people say, well, Keith, don't you hyperventilate? No, you don't. Because hyperventilating means you can't breathe. When you do this, this is all you're doing is breathing. Right? You will feel the buzz. You will feel the buzz. You'll know something's starting to happen. Tons of YouTube videos out there on out-of-body experiences, lucid dreaming. Anyone out there might be familiar with Dr. Robert Monroe. Although Buddhists and other spiritualists have been aware of out-of-body experiences, lucid dreaming for eons, he's the one that made it mainstream. I think in late 40s or 50s, whatever. He was actually the president. Listen to this. He was the president of, I think it was NBC. I think he was the president of NBC. Robert Monroe. Normal cat, had no interest in any of this, walking down the street one day, and all of a sudden he felt the buzz. His body started vibrating. He went and lay down and take a nap. He started having a far-out experience. He started just enjoying what was happening and just playing around. He put his hand in the floor, and he felt a nail in the floor. So when he woke up, he was so flabbergasted and fascinated, it ate him alive. So he took a crowbar and opened up the floor, and there was everything he felt. And so he began logging these experiences. Phenomenal book. It'll tell you, sort of like the video I played for you just a little bit ago, it'll tell you in word form the experiences he's had. And my God, there were many, many, many. This is one thing I do want to read to you. First, I want to tell you about this experience that I had some years ago. Everyone knows me knows that I follow Satya Sai Baba, the holy man back here. I follow all spiritual teachers, Jesus, Buddha, anyone who has something good to say that pops my heart open. After having many upon many experiences with Sai Baba, and trust me when I tell you, when you're conscious, you're conscious. You're more conscious than you are now listening to me. Sai Baba says, Keith, come with me, and astrally or whatever, we take off. We arrive in the middle of space. Nothing. A void. stars, you can see, middle of space, and there was a little shack. Now check this out, little bitty shack. And if you're familiar with the picture of Jesus knocking on a door, it's like a little shanty of a shack. This is exactly what it was. And spiritual masters love to hang out within them like a man cave. A spiritual man cave. And they hang out in these little shacks because they're humble, enlightened beings. They don't require, computers and cell phones and iPads. That's not the way of it. So we get to the shack, and Sai Baba looks to me and says, Keith, we're about to enter, and you are a very lucky boy. And I said, okay, tell me how. He says, what you are about to experience, no one has ever experienced, and you're lucky this way. Behave yourself and mind your manners. I said, yes, sir, absolutely. So we walk into the shack, and as soon as I walk in, he says, you stand right here out the way, Keith. Sai Baba walks in. All the other masters are hanging out in this room, begin to genuflect. Now keep in mind, the inside of this shack is larger than it is on the outside. So in this shack, the first thing when I come to the realization of taking the experience in, you can imagine a long table, sort of like a long picnic table that could put 8 people and 8 people on each side on the bench. And in between the bench and the wall was about 5 foot. Same to be true. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the rest down that side. And behind each one, on a mantle, was a clay bust of the master that sat in that position all the way down on both sides. John Doe, there's his bust. Jack Doe, there's his bust. Master C, that's his bust. Yogi, whoever, there's his bust, and so forth and so on. And Sai Baba says, it's about to begin. And then I start getting everything really on a telepathic level. It was all telepathic, but I was just automatically knowing what was happening. It was an initiation for a Tibetan Buddhist monk, and he sat third on the left. This is how he had to pass his spiritual black belt test to become titled a master. And everyone has done this. Everyone in that room has done this. And this is just amazing. Blew my mind as I was experiencing this. So he gets up and he comes in front of me. And he holds up a pane of glass. A very thin pane of glass. And he has to project his consciousness. Is that word? Project. Astral projection. He has to project his consciousness through the pane of glass without breaking it. So that implies he has to project enough of his consciousness through the glass into a clay mold. So he has to use enough of his will to leave an impression in the clay mold and not break the glass. And that clay mold, when successful, becomes the bust that the master who was initiated puts behind him as his black belt award, saying that we have proof. Here's your award. Here's your certificate. You are a master, and you've achieved it. His name was Master C. He was a Tibetan Buddhist monk. I need some water, excuse me. When holy man Swamiji Visayogi came to town, God realized, man, I asked him if that experience I just told you I had was true. He said yes, and he began to describe it to me. He said it's absolutely true. Masters hang out in these wooden shacks all the time. All right, I'm going to read you just a little bit from my book. Actually, this is a different one. This is from my book about my journey to India to see Satya Sai Baba, called For the Love of God. This is an excerpt. I'm having a dialogue with God, spirit, higher self, whatever you term to call it. Why do I have these way out experiences when I'm sleeping and not when I'm awake? Spirit says, Because during sleep, you lose the very awareness of your body that you need to stay in it. And because as long as you're sleeping, you cannot be lured into the temptations of the external world that your mind and body crave. Sometimes I have dreams that seem so real that I wake up thinking I was actually there. You were. I was. If you were not there, Keith, where were you? But aren't our dreams metaphors for something else? And your life on earth is not? I see your point. Keith, you are dreaming right now. You may think just because your physical eyes are open that you are awake. But even when they are open, there's a part of you that still sleeps. This dream versus reality thing is still confusing me. I shall effort to clear it up then. When you have a dream, it is a dream, and at the same time, it is not. In your waking state of consciousness, when everything seems to be tangible, that too is a dream. The reality is that both provide you with experiences that are integral to your growth. The dichotomy is that since both are dreams dreamed from my mind, everything in your waking and sleeping life is an illusion as well as real. Wow. I understand that. But if I'm faced with two scenarios, how can I decide which one is higher and which one is lower? Your ability to differentiate between the two is what makes one more real than the other. The one that you decide is a closer representation of me, spirit, is the higher reality. The other is more likely to be the illusion or the lower reality. But keep in mind this is only relative because the decision between higher and lower can vary from person to person. And even though you deem something to be either real or illusory, do not lose sight of the real truth that God is the dreamer behind both. Remember this, and the you that sleeps with your eyes open will awaken to truly see my reality. Does everyone dream when they sleep? Yes. But why doesn't everyone remember their dreams? Because many do not like what they see when they dream, so they subconsciously shut them off and also from remembering them. What's the difference between an out-of-body journey and a dream? You must understand there is no such thing as out-of-body. What about in death? The soul does not leave the body leaves the soul. Or said another way, the body is no longer animated, at least in the time frame of that person's life. However, the reality of that person's past remains active in the universe, and so does his or her body. So no one ever really dies. Enlightenment is the process of awakening. Awakening is a constant awareness that happens as a result of any true understanding. Once you realize something, it can never be unrealized, for it is impossible to do away with what you know. Your ongoing expansion just keeps on going. What will happen after I awaken? You will find yourself in another reality, another dream that will continue until you graduate to dreamer status, God realization. You mean there's more I have to do after I awaken? As I said before, my reality is for those who really want it. Yes, the road is long and it will take time, but that road will eventually lead you to eternity. And when you get there, all of your struggles will be forgotten. Forgotten. So, what I'm offering to you tonight, you can contact me. I'll do the research for you. I'll find the best of the best stuff I can find and say, read this, check this out, watch this video. I'll do it for you. I sit here all day and play. All right. I'm going to read you another short piece, and I appreciate you being here. You have my heart. This is from the same book. No, this is from the Divine Principle. this is sort of, the computer in the internet world is sort of a metaphor, but not really. It's actually the same. We can think about the manifestation of the internet is God. How so, Keith? Well, if God is omnipresent, present in all places, the internet's everywhere. God is omniscient, all-knowing. There's not anything you can't find on Google. God is omnipotent, all-powerful. We know that what we find on Google, all that information creates self-power. So in this dialogue, I'm going to put you here in a second, it uses the computer and the internet as an analogy to help you to understand what is possible for you through astral travel and lucid experiences. God starts off by saying, the software of the universal mainframe is formatted so that you can visit and browse any cosmic page for as long as you like. Then when you are done, just sign off and begin to put the knowledge you gained from your surfing cosmic journey to use. Whatever you download will help you to execute your upgrading. I say, is it correct to say that the computer and information age that we're living in is preparing us now for the cosmic reality? God says, yes, and when you learn how to use your spiritual PC properly, you will understand that you are not the computer itself, the body, but all the valuable stuff it contains. Though you may have often had to scan disk your belief drive and defrag your victim death files, your cosmic web surfing will finally help you to see that fear is a mere illusion when held up against your own spirit's light and power. Your past inability to recognize this has kicked you offline, only to be rebooted into another life. During your visits to the Earth site, you have created different screen names with the hope of reformatting your belief drive, but you have not taken the time to protect yourself against the hackers and the viruses that have always made you crash. I know you can do better this time, Keith. I believe in you. And I said, and I believe in you. And then Spirit responded, you must believe in yourself first. Then it would be so much easier for you to believe in me. So what we are sitting on is everything. So I take my work very, very seriously. Everything. It's all there. You can visit the realms of subatomic particles, deceased loved ones, alien beings, angels, guides. Whatever you think of, you can target it and you can experience it. Past, future. Now people, let's move into the final segment and then I'll take a Q&A. People may say, well, what about all the bad stuff in there? The devil and the boogeyman. Are you serious, really? There's no devil. The devil is what you think about what a devil is. That's where the fear comes from. It's hyper-focusing on something that absolutely goes nowhere. Well, Keith, the Bible says there's a devil. All right. God is the light, and the devil is dark. What happens when you turn on the light? If God is the truth, and the devil and God are opposites, God is the truth in reality, then the devil is false and non-reality. It's folklore. It is a myth. Now, and if you have a way out of that conundrum, tell me. Let me, because I'm curious. I would like to know. Seriously, I would like to know. You know, you take a pin flashlight and you walk in a dark room, everything just scatters. Just like the information I'm giving you. The information is awareness. Awareness is light. If I give you light-filled information, your fears can dissipate and you can allow yourself to experience the truth of who you are. Where does God live? God lives here. Point to yourself. I point to myself. So why am I not having all these far-out cosmic experiences that a divine being does and would? It's the crap. It's all the stuff in the way. I'm not interested in it. Or if I do this, this can happen. It's just all the funky, dark, dense stuff that's in the way. Now let's get into the segment about sleep paralysis. when you're out and about, if you have an experience, be it a lucid dream, 9 out of 10, your lucid dreams won't be anything of a negative nature. That might happen, because I'm not going to put fear into you. An out-of-body experience. And it's not about going to it with this anticipation of being afraid and, oh my God, I'm not sure. Because that's just so created. Because you're in now dimensions where there's no time. Okay? There's no time. I had a sleep paralysis experience, and I thought, oh my God, I'm vulnerable. I can't move. I can't move. I had a thought, I wonder if some little creature's going to come in the room and mess with me. Hello, at the door stands this little creature who comes in the room, and I immediately had the thought, is he going to mess with my face? And he starts messing with my face. Is he going to start pulling on my leg? And he starts pulling on my leg. Everything I said I was going to do, start doing. All right? So, and I'm trying to scramble and wake my ass up because I'm freaking out. And then it dawned on me, Keith, use your common sense. Chill out. Relax. Use the information you had. I reached over with my astral arms. I couldn't see him, but I felt him. And I grabbed him. Threw him as hard against the wall as I possibly could. And I knew he slid down the wall and started feeling around for him. And I felt him. He had sharp teeth. And this was all self-fabricated. So when you get out there, if you can't put into motion what I just described, that awareness, know that you can always just wake up. You're not going to die. You can shift yourself to another dimension by just mere thought. Angelic dimension, bang, you're there. Or you can turn into a ball of light and grab them. Because the last thing they want you to do as a ball of light is grab them. They want no part of that at all. Or tell them you love them. Or just not be intimidated. Or use sacred words, Jesus, if you need to. Or, you know, whatever. You can make it up. So, what sleep paralysis is, they also call it the hypnagogic state. Imagine you're lying on a bed. This is you, your body. Well, this is your body. This is you. And you're inside. And you're starting to disassociate. We do this every night. The truth does not need anyone's permission to exist. So if we're doing this every night, we might as well be conscious of the program and kind of go along with it and kind of become active participants so we can use it for our expansion. Dig, right? So you're starting to separate, or you're starting to come back in. You didn't know, you remember the experience, but for some reason you're conscious now, and you either are conscious of coming back in, or you're conscious of the fact that you're about to leave. And because you're conscious, you think, well, I'm awake. I'm going to go ahead and get out of bed. And you can't move. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. You don't have to do any further research on what I'm telling you. A psychiatrist is not needed, or a sleep specialist. I'm not saying don't go to a sleep specialist for this and other things. I'm telling you, if you're just wrestling with this one issue, this is the way out of it. And this is what's happening. So now you're hyper-conscious in this experience, and you're starting to separate or come back in. And you're aware. You try to move and you can't. The reason you can't move is because it's a fail-safe mechanism, so that if your bedroom's on the second floor, that you don't fall down the stairs and break your neck, break your leg, so you don't bump into the furniture. That's what it's for. You can't move. Nothing is squashing you. I'm telling you, I heard the old hag. There's supposedly an old hag. Now, I'm not saying that there's not beings out there that have form, or is it our inviting of it, giving it form and creating it? Or likely we're attracting it to us, because everything ever created, everything created now, and everything that ever will be created is now. It's happening now. There is no time. God is this explosion of consciousness and light, and it's the glue, it's light and sound, and it's all vibrating, and it's you, and it's me, and it's the chair, and it's the video, it's the sound you're hearing from my voice, it's me speaking, it's all of it. God is not a man. God is beyond what I can even describe here. And my best attempts would be love, awareness, all those peace, all those things. And that is truly only a fragment of the absolute truth. So you can't walk because your body's trying to protect you. Now what you can do is come to the realization, this is what's happening. I remember what Keith said. Wow. You can make the being just get off of you and go somewhere else. Or you can just slap them away or whatever. Don't do anything violent, because, you get my point. But you are in ample time, fertile ground, to be conscious of an out-of-body experience. Anytime you have a sleepscape experience and you are aware that you're flying, you're out of body. And if you can remember that you're out of body, now you become hyper-conscious. Then you start realizing, oh my God, how can I be conscious here and know that I have a bed a gazillion miles away and I'm sleeping on it? You will know. That way you know that that's really not you. And the more you learn to do this and are successful, the more your fear of death you will alleviate from your life. Because you become aware of the other dimensions, who we are when we in the dimension of spirit, the dimension of light. So what you do is when you're having this halfway in, halfway out, and sleep paralysis was coming on, just tell yourself, I can't walk in this experience. I'm not supposed to walk in this experience. When I die, I won't have arms and legs. I can't use physicality. So what you do is you think. You use your will. Watch the movie What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams and Cuba Gooding Jr. Perfect analogy. Perfect example. You think, if you want to go to Hawaii, as I said earlier, you think of hula trees. Hula trees? Palm trees, hula girls, the South Pacific, the salty air. Just everything about Hawaii. And you will launch yourself to that place instead of wrestling with sleep paralysis. You can think of a deceased father, deceased mother. You can go to see a planet. Go see a star being born. Say, star being born. Bang. It's like getting on Google and your third eye and typing in, here's your Google eye. Right? Ooh, that's another metaphor I can use in my talks. Your Google eye. And you type in what you're looking for, press enter, and because you enter, bang, you're there. So sleep paralysis is not something where boogeymen are going to get you and the devil's going to get you. I know, Keith, I had the experience last night, and so I opt out of trying to have these experiences because I shouldn't dabble with this kind of sorcery. It's crap. It's hogwash. I'm not saying your religion is crap. I love all religion. I love anything that propagates and supports and encourages people to be better human beings. There's lots of dogma out there, and I'm just saying be careful of what you're taking in to your life. You will know that you have found the truth when your heart begins to vibrate. Any scripture that makes your heart vibrate, makes your heart sing, makes your heart expand, it's the truth. And the reason your heart is expanding is because it's resonating with the truth. Your heart is the truth. God is the truth. God lives in your heart. God is right there. So that's why your heart, you begin to feel excited. It moves you. The stuff that makes you go, ah. You might take it out of context of what it is meant. I don't buy into a God-fearing religion. I don't buy into fearing God. I just don't. I have no fear in God that lives in me, and therefore I never experience it. When I ever have an experience that's of a lower vibration, as soon as I become conscious, it might be happening. As soon as I become conscious, I'm like, you messed with the wrong dude. And I'll begin to grab them, and I'll begin to kiss them or tell them I love them, and they all start squirming away. And now my vibration is such, typically daily, as a normal default vibration for me. I really don't have these experiences. So what I'm suggesting is please don't go into these experiences being afraid. It's who you are. When you leave this body and you leave this reality, you're going to have those experiences. So you can have them here now, experience your loved ones, begin a dialogue with your loved ones, and begin to alleviate your fear of death. Thank you for being here. I'm going to take some questions, and hopefully we can provide some answers. All right. Did everybody like the show? Everybody like the broadcast? Well, thank you very much. I wasn't asking to see your ego stroke. I was asking that for you. Did it resonate with you? Does it seem like something that you can do? Does it seem possible in your life? Or how many people are familiar with some of the things I mentioned here in this broadcast? So if anyone has, let's see. I don't know how many people are here. Let me find that question out, that answer out. We have 4 in the room. Hey, Kenny Long. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Becca. Kathy says, thanks, Kathy, you're welcome. Chad Anthony, how do you resuscitate your pineal gland? Chad Anthony. Again, the want to do that is the halfway point. Because if you never want it, any other way that it takes to do it would never happen, right? So that's the halfway point. But here are some of the particulars about doing that. Meditation. Again, YouTube, Google how to decalcify your pineal gland. The pineal gland is an amazing thing. If you look at the Egyptian eye, the eye of Ra, I think, and Horus, excuse me, it looks exactly like the setup of the pineal gland in your third eye, in your brow. And what the pineal gland is, it can see in both directions. It's for seeing out here, but you can also turn that eye for seeing inwardly. You can see auras. But it's fluoride. If you are having fluoride toothpaste, stop taking fluoride toothpaste. Stop it. If you want success in this. It calcifies your pineal gland. If you're drinking tap water, stop. And Chad and I had a little experiment. Chad and I had a little experiment the other night with water, and he got me. But I knew something about both those waters were the same, and they were both tap water. Good when you got me. Buy water that you know that does not have fluoride in it. Fluoride was never meant to give you by those people who care about us to prevent cavities. It's hogwash. It was prevent to decalcify your pineal, to stop you from becoming spiritually illumined and awakened. Those people know what they're doing. They did it intentionally. Same with Monsanto. Same with HARP. Same with chemtrails. It's all true. Remember, the truth does not need anyone's permission to exist. Decalcifying your pineal gland. Get out of fluoride in the water. Find water. Do the research. You'll find it. Send me a message. I'll help you find it. Find bottled water or an absolute good purifier that decalcifies, takes all the funkiness out of tap water. Some of those waters do not have Osaka water at all. That's really, really bad. Get your children off of faucet water. You can go to any health food store and buy your children fluoride-free toothpaste. I get it from my son. Ava Rose says, sometimes before I fall asleep, I feel like I'm falling, which wakes me up. Would you say that the falling sensation is me going out of body? Absolutely, it's exactly what it is. And it feels like you're falling because what you are really doing, the real you, is lifting. That's exactly what's happening. So the trick of what Ava asked through this question is to remain mentally alert while your body is going into sleep. Another thing you can do, which this program I mentioned earlier, Dream Leap sleeping supplements, is you wake up 4 hours, set your alarm clock, wake up 4 hours after you've fallen asleep, walk around for 5-10 minutes or so, get the mind active, and you know that body is ready to conk. It's ready to conk out. And when you do, bang, you're in an immediate lucid experience. Absolute lucid experience. So the answer to that, Ava Rowe, is profound question. Yes, the reason it feels like you're falling, that's one of the reasons I can't sleep on my back. Not because I'm scared, it's just because I just can't fall in. Because when you start to shift out, and I'm sure everyone's experienced this, sleeping on your back, when you start to shift out, your spirit doesn't really go up. Yes, it does. It's a dichotomy. But that's why it feels like you're falling. Fantastic question. Very fantastic question. Kathy says, there have been times I wanted to wake up, needed to. Something I felt I had to wake up. And I kept trying and couldn't. Was paralyzed. That's sleep paralysis. You think you're awake and you're not, and you struggle, and you struggle, and then finally oh my God, I'm awake. Whew, thank goodness. And then you're back in it again, and you keep thinking that you're out of it because it's so hyper real. And then finally, after what seems like eons of time, because we're in fear mode, it feels like forever, then finally we wake up. But one thing you cannot kid yourself about, how real is that experience that you had versus the waking world experience. It was so real and so scary you wanted out. That's how real it was to you. But if you can create the flip, the other side of the coin, the inside of what you really are, and bring that to the fore, you will become hyper-conscious of the blissful, expansive, cosmic experiences to the same depth of, wow, this is real, and wanting to wake up because you're scared to death, to, wow, this is real, I don't ever want to wake up. Chat says, I like dreaming. Good for you, bro. Fight dragons. Ooh. Fascinating. The answer is no. There is no such thing as sleep monsters. Good one, Chad. Extraordinary claims, rather extreme evidence. Extraordinary evidence. So Google is God. Kenny asks, Google is God. Yeah. Well, if everything's God, God is everything. God is the doorway to cosmic information. Google was used by me as a metaphor to information. It can be seen as the same idea for knowledge, and truly, in my opinion, it's a metaphor for the divine manifesting itself in this period that we're living in on Earth. Google is a way to information. We always heard that information is power. God is power. God is omnipresent. God is omniscient, all-knowing. All those qualities. It's a manifestation of that truth. It is. We call this the golden age. It's happening. What does it mean when you prefer to sleep? When you prefer to sleep to dream? Chad, if you're asking, I would rather sleep than dream. I'm not sure if that's what you're asking. It could be that you're just tired and want to rest. What does it mean when you prefer to sleep to dream? I'm not sure. I think that's what he meant. Chad says, where can I buy your book? I will give you that info. You can go to KeithAnthonyBlanchard.com or centeroflightradio.com and go to, I think, My Creations, just one of those tabs. You will see links to all my works. Which is better feet? Chad, you're a good man. I love it, buddy. It's a pleasure to have met you recently. Much information when following my touching arm. Going to get go and get high so I can comprehend what you're saying. All right. Let's get back to the top and let's see if anyone has a question. I have to refresh for the question. So let me do just that. And likely there's been questions put to me so far. Thank you so much for this information. Kathy says, darling, you're welcome. Answer to falling, feeling, helped so. Happened many times. Yeah, that's what's happening. You're actually beginning to lift, and it feels like you're falling in. Of course, it's a natural response to want to catch yourself from falling. Absolutely, dear. Let's see. Next week, my Burst of Light video broadcast is going to be about, I said karma. I might make it a two-part show. One is I want to impart to everyone that karma, don't believe the Facebook crap people say about karma. I mean, some of that is metaphorically true. So I'll give you some information about karma. But I think by Donna Ashley, if you're still here, darling, I did not forget about you. You asked to do a show specifically about spiritual awakening. I will pull out some powerful information. It's not a cure-all. It's not to cheat the system, because you have to do the sufficient, intensive, and extensive mental and spiritual work. But I promise you, I will hand you some information that in that moment, it will pop you open to see exactly who you are, what needs to be done, what begins to happen to you as your new path begins to unfold, what it feels like when you become an intermediate, what the path looks like as it begins to unfold when you're at that level, and what it's like to become a master. Or Keith, are you saying a master? No, I'm not. I'm not stupid, and I am humble. But I do have a very clear, intuitive idea of what it takes. And I'm dabbling with such said energies, meaning I've experienced the truth. I didn't attract divine incarnations into my life because I haven't done sufficient work. This is not a bragging point for Keith, but yet it's to tell you that I am no different than you. I am the guy next door. People know me who see me in public. They come hang out with Keith. I go hang out with you. So this is doable, and I'm saying this to give you a motivating factor that I will hand you some tools next week about spiritual awakening that can help you see that it's not such a hard thing to achieve. Life is not difficult. Life is not hard. The spiritual path to awakening is not a learning. It's actually an unlearning. So next week, I'm going to give you some unlearning tidbits, tools. Right? All right, let me refresh again. I have to keep refreshing. Let's see. I think I will stay on for 2 more minutes. So everyone who has a comment, please introduce that now. Sylvia says yes. Sylvia, did you say, hello Janelle. Sylvia, did you say yes to karma? Yes, she did say yes to karma. Much information. So baking soda, absolutely. Baking soda is fantastic for reducing bad things in your food, in your water. Here's an idea for you. You want to get rid of acid? If you drink coffee, take a little bitty pinch, little minuscule pinch, and put it in your coffee. It totally neutralizes the acid. You can see God as alkaline and the devil, or negativity for the body, as acid, and God, the positivity, as alkaline. And when you put baking soda in your coffee, it neutralizes it. You want to get acid out of your body. Brian Blanchard, hey brother, what's happening? I miss you, dude. I miss you greatly. Talk about an enlightened dear friend of mine, Mr. Brian Blanchard. He and I has played together in the cosmic arena quite a few times, and I'm sure that if he wanted to and not call attention to himself, I understand, he will say, yes, Keith, this is true. He and I has played in the cosmic arena quite a few times. Brian, it's a blessing to see you, brother. Hey, Corey, I don't know if you're still here. So next week, maybe talk a little bit about karma, but also move into the beautiful field of who you really are. We're all spiritual beings. It's not that someone who is a religious person is not spiritual. We're all spiritual even though you're an atheist. It's all spiritual. There's nothing that is not spiritual. It's about those who are choosing to take the God-given faculties they have and opening them up. It's about awareness expansion. I'm looking directly, not at you, but metaphorically at you through the camera. But I'm aware of that water bottle. I'm aware of that train over there vibrating. I'm aware that the picture is, the big picture behind me is there. I'm aware. I can feel it because I've learned to expand that muscle by working the muscle with spiritual weight. So now that my muscle is expanded, I can feel it, intuit a little greater, a little deeper. So now that I've expanded that and curved it within itself and worked that muscle, it's like graduating with weights. You expand. And that's how I know that the path that I'm following at least is true for me. And the truth doesn't need anyone's permission to exist. I know that angels, extraterrestrials, contacting loved ones exist because I've expanded those spiritual muscles inside of myself to a level that is the truth. And that is what I want to offer you next week, at least a baby step, to use a word, into this kind of experience of living your life. And I promise you, when you do this steadfastly, every day, devotion. God is not about church at 8, 7, 9, 10 o'clock on Sunday. We can feel the presence of God in church. Yes, we can. But when we feel the presence of God within ourselves, we become and are the church. Right? And it's cool. Church is fun. We hang out with people of like minds. I get it. Wonderful idea. And Corey says, I need to speak to you soon if you can. You can contact me tomorrow. Carl Laperouse, my old friend, phenomenal drummer. Talk about weightlifting. He's a bodybuilder that won many world awards. There you have it. How you like this for a synchronization? Carl's a phenomenal drummer, phenomenal cat. I haven't seen him in many, many years. I miss you, bro. You are a wonderful experience for me. Okay, I'm going to close this out by saying Center of Light Radio every Monday night, 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern. I interview doctors, scientists, God-realized men from India, people who are God. In fact, if they wanted, by a simple shift of awareness, they can know that Keith Blanchard is talking to a camera and know everyone who is in this room listening to my voice. Truth does not need anyone's permission to exist. So, Center of Light Radio, Monday nights, 5 p.m. Central Time. Lasts an hour. What a great way to start off your new week, other than with spiritual powering information. Spiritual empowering information. Go to centeroflightradio.com. You can catch that broadcast as well as KeithAnthonyBlanchard.com. If you're a YouTuber, go to youtube.com/centeroflightradio. Or you can go to YouTube and look up Center of Light Radio. I have archived all of my shows for the past. My third year starts tomorrow with Center of Light Radio. My third year with this platform. And I'm getting my new statistics for this 6 month. And I'm proud to say, thanks to MJ, Joe, and Bob, I have a listenership of probably over 3 million right now. So I am doing the work. I'm doing my work that brings joy to me. And I like bringing that same joy to you with what I know gives me a huge kick. And I'm thinking that everybody's got to want some of this shit, right? Damn! That gift was paid forward to me many, many years ago. And I'm obligated the rest of my life. Why? What else is fun? I love what I do, and I love you. So, I'll be seeing you soon, next week. If you want to be notified when I go live, look around in that little conversational box area. You'll see a button that says, be notified. Do that. You can always feel free to contact me. Facebook, send me an instant message. It's okay. I'm approachable like you know me to be. Hey, Keith, this would be a great subject for next week. Whatever it is. Let me look one final time. And if I don't see it, I am signing off. That's it, Chad. Let me double check. That's it, bro. And look under creations. You'll find everything I've done. Ava Rose says, look forward to radio shows beginning mid-May. All right, everybody. Keith Anthony Blanchard here. Peace, love, and light. Breathe tonight, man. Check this out. Put your hand over your heart. Mean it. Show that you're serious. God, take me for a ride. I want to fly with you. And breathe like you want it. Breathe God in. Exhale your drama. Breathe, breathe, breathe. When thoughts come in, those thought clouds, don't fight them. Let them be. Let them come out. Let them go. After about 10 minutes of this kind of breath and this activity, you'll find yourself in deafening silence. You are on fertile ground to have an out-of-body experience. But also when you fall asleep, after putting yourself in a space of stillness, you're about beyond the devil and the angel, both pitching at you in your ears. You are beyond the ooh-ooh-ah-ah monkey mind thinking process. In fact, you elevated yourself through it. So now that when you fall asleep, you're ready to launch. So I look forward to seeing you Monday nights, 5 p.m. Central Time, when Center of Light Radio launches for another episode of Empowering Information. Peace, love, and light, and always remember, ease in truth.